All right, everybody. 3-time NASCAR champion Joey Logano has joined us. Regardless of what anybody wants to say, you are about one of the 10 greatest, winningest champion drivers in NASCAR history. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's so neat to hear that one, but really just the people that the championship affects is what I've come to learn that means the most. The stats are cool, and obviously, you guys have been talking about that throughout the evening so far, but I guess knowing a lot of people so personally on the team, that's what makes it the most special to me.
What is the difference between regular season Joey Logano and playoff Joey Logano?
I don't know. There's something inside of me that gets a little fired up, and I wish I knew exactly what it was. I do it all the time, and I think I do, but I think everything just seems to come together in the playoffs. And I always say pressure is a privilege and pressure is earned, and it's not comfortable. Like, it's not a fun place to be, but for whatever reason, our team and myself thrive in pressure scenarios, and this playoff system is so high pressure that I think it just, it'll bring the best or the worst out of you, right? And we see that every year with the drama that happens, right? And people care so much, and just whether something happens. But man, it's intense 10 weeks. It's not an enjoyable 10 weeks, but it's something that we seem to thrive in, and it's a long 10 weeks, but it has a really cool prize at the end if you do it right.
So what's incredible to me is Blaney's tracking you down. He was coming from a ways back. I don't know if you could see him in your rearview mirror. I mean, Coleman's telling you, I listened to you guys probably the last 20, 25 laps, and, the margins are getting closer. Here comes Blaney, right? And, he got to the point where it's like he's there pretty much. And I thought, well, it seems like he's got a faster car. And Coleman is saying, I need everything out of you these last 10 laps. You've got to dig. He's coaching you on the lines. He's coaching you where to go. You're down to tenths of a second. And you did what you do. You put on this defensive clinic. They call Sergio Perez in F1 the minister of defense, but I think you're actually the real minister of defense. I mean, it's incredible what you do. And how can you describe to the listeners how you were able to hang on in a situation like that?
Yeah, I mean, when we got out front, we had a great restart. Oh, first off, let's go back to the beginning of the weekend. I told Paul and the guys that the 12 is going to be the hardest car to beat. And that I know that because Ryan is so freaking good. He's got so much speed, and he used to make a lot of mistakes, so it didn't matter that much. It was like, oh, he goes fast, but he's going to hit the wall, or he's going to speed up at road, or something's going to happen, and he won't be, a threat. Now he's good, right? Like, he's figured out the details really well, and he has the speed. So I knew that the 12 was going to be really challenging to beat. Obviously, we have the same stuff, so it's like, okay. He's just fast. The kid goes fast. He's not a kid anymore, but to me he is. So I knew he was going to be hard to beat, and I had to beat him on details this weekend. I had to beat him on whether it's the head game, the pressure, the details of restarts. I had to beat him on that stuff because if it's just on raw speed, we don't have the upper hand. And so to be able to get the good restart, that was key. We needed that. And then as he's catching you, you're like, geez, I knew it. I knew it is happening. And, as he's, Coleman, like you said, is telling me everything that's going on. And Coleman's a fantastic spotter and an even better friend. And I think that's what helps us the most is that he knows me better than anyone but my wife. There's two people, I think, in this world that know me really, really well. And it'd be Coleman and Brittany, and it's so cool to have them both on my team, and be like doing it together. That's what makes us so special. But in those moments, like, we're grinding it out together, and it's tough. And he told me everything I needed to know, and I was able to hit a few good laps. And Blaine was able to make a mistake one time that kind of gave me enough gap there on the last lap, but it was everything I expected. I just didn't expect them to be coming that fast. I thought when I got out there 2 seconds in the lead, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I was like, oh, God, here he comes.
You look back to 2018, you look at 2022, 2024. The common denominator in many of those years, you won the first race in the semifinal round, and it gave you guys a bit of a head start to kind of prepare. I sat down with your crew chief, Paul Wolf, a few weeks ago, and he kind of walked me through this. But from your perspective, the driver perspective, what is that like having those extra weeks to prepare where you're not under the stress of what we seen at Homestead and we saw at Martinsville?
It's important for two reasons. One, you said you're not under stress, right? So your batteries are recharged when you get here. Now I will say with Blaney winning last week, that gives a lot of momentum into the weekend. But I didn't tell you guys that.
He said that to me though. He said that actually winning last year carried him through this weekend.
And it probably did. But for us, our advantage was that we got in sooner, and we took those 2 weeks to really not do good at those racetracks because we were focused on here. So, yeah, I guess looking back at it, there's a reason why we won those 3, and it seems like that's the recipe to do it. It's easy to say, hard to do. You think about Vegas, gosh, if it wasn't for that run going so long, and us, getting great fuel mileage to be able to stay out there and beat the 20, we're not here. I don't think we win. I'm not sure we get in. I don't know. You can't look at Martinsville and Miami and say, well, if the 22 didn't win in Vegas, then they wouldn't have made it. You can't say that because we'd run completely different at those racetracks because we'd actually care. So it's just the recipe that we've seen that works for us.
All right, we're up against it time-wise. Let you get out here on this. We're kind of flip-flopping time here. We're going back in time. We've already had our discussion about the playoffs and all this stuff. We just heard your press conference. You are firmly, I'll give you spoiler alert, you're Team Jordan on the playoffs. You guys love the playoffs. I argue there should be tweaks to the playoffs. Can you make your case without going over your time and getting us in trouble for why the playoffs should stay the way they are and why they're exciting right now?
Listen, we've had this playoff system for 10 years now. Is that right? Is it 10 years?
11.
This is the 11th year. And now we're complaining about it? Come on. The first time we did it, this was great. Everyone loved it, right? If I remember correctly, I'm 90% sure I was in the meetings when all this was being hashed out. Denny Hamlin was one of the people in that room. For sure was in one of the rooms. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think this was his idea.
Okay.
Or he was definitely for it. Now, can we tweak things? I'm sure. But, gosh, it just makes incredible storylines all the way through. And everyone has the same opportunity, right? Is there tweaks that you can make? Maybe. But the advantage that the 5 had, the 45 had going into the playoffs, what else could you want? I don't know. They earned an advantage. They got the advantage. And if you don't make it with that, then, oh, well. What are you supposed to do, right? And the only thing I guess sometimes that you can look back at and say, gosh, what would you change? Would be maybe making a couple races for the last round. Because I've been part of this in 2020 where everything was going really well. Looked like we were about to win the race. We put on a set of tires. This thing's shaking. I can't see where I'm going, and I lose the championship, right? And that's when the 9 won. And we were ahead of him off a pit road, driving away from him. And I still look at that championship as the one that got away. And it sucks that it came down to one race. It came down to one set of tires that was off balanced. That hurts. That one really stings because you did everything right, and we should be here with 4 of them right now. I don't know. I can look at the one with Carl Edwards and say we should be sitting here with 5 of them. Right? I'm sure everyone can say something, but yeah.
2026, you'll get the other one.
I like it. Well, let's do 25.
I'm sticking with even years.
I'm okay with it, but I'd rather.
Really quick, he didn't pick you to win the championship, by the way.
No, I don't believe. I'm still in disbelief. I cannot believe you did it. Honestly, it's amazing.
At some point, you may change your mind.
Yeah, no kidding. Joey, thank you. You're a tremendous ambassador for the sport. You're a tremendous character. You always are probably one of the most helpful people to the media when we were doing our jobs, when we were asking questions. You are classy, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It takes all of us to make this whole thing happen, and we got great reporters here. We got great fans. We got great competitors. I hate that we talk about what we don't like so much and think about how badass our sport is. We got a lot of really good things going for us. So proud to be the champion again, and hope you guys have a good off season.
She says we're great. See?
Yeah, you two are.